Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Learning Sound and Synthesis Spotlight interview. I'm here today with Jay Moore. I'm so happy you're here. And we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is making music for the joy of it. I think this is something that is so valuable. And sometimes we forget that music can be fun and creativity can be fun. So I'm really excited to get into this interview. For those of you who are new here, if you haven't seen one of these, first of all, hi, my name is Sarah. I teach modular synthesis and sound design and experimental music, and I help people make music that feels like a true expression of themselves and that feels joyful. That's really why I do what I do. And Jay is a student inside my class learning sound and synthesis. And this whole series is about talking to the amazing people in the community, learning their stories, hearing about what has been helpful for them on their journeys, and kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit to see like what goes into growing a practice with synthesizers, with electronics, and all of that. So that's why we're here. Say hello in the chat if you're tuning in live. It's always good to see you. Hello, hello. Okay, Jay, over to you. Welcome. I'm so happy you're
Hello.
here. Can you start us off just by introducing yourself, who you are?
Yeah,
What
sure. My name's Jay. I'm from England. I started Sarah's course in the fall. I'd been away from music for quite a long time, really. When I was a kid, I played bass in a punk band, and I used to like improvising. I did a bit of blues improv through the years with friends, but I never really. I kind of left music behind, and I kind of last year. It seems like a long time ago now, but I started thinking, okay, my wife actually started learning the piano, and that got me interested in learning. I thought, okay, I could have a go at that, and so I started with a bit of YouTube first, just trying to learn a Doors song. That was my first, trying to learn a bit of improv, and then my wife found Sarah's course and pointed me this way,
oh,
and it's been kind of like such a blessing, really, such a great thing. So, kind of modular synthesis was new to me, and I've
right.
really
So
learned
it
a
kind of
lot.
came out it kind of came out of the blue. I'm curious because
Yeah,
you're a creative person though in other ways. Can you share a little bit about that for
yeah,
folks just so they have some background?
yeah. I mean, I've always been really into electronics, and I used to
Yeah.
do kind of a little bit of tinkering. But then I went into a job doing software, so that's really been my career, doing software engineering and databases and stuff like that. So it's kind of a creativity thing, but
Yeah.
I think I let my sort of personal creativity. I left it at work, kind of thing. So I think it's time really to reactivate that.
So what
And I do some dancing as well. Actually, that was
Yes,
the other thing I started last year was
you do
contact
dancing.
improvisation dancing. Uh,
That's
and that,
amazing. Okay. That's so cool. And I know you were interested in maybe using modular synths to create sound and music for your dancing,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, I
really
love that. That's so
interested in
cool.
that. Yeah, yeah,
So, something that I really would love to talk to you about, because I know there are people in this community who are in a similar situation where maybe they were creative at some chapter in their life, maybe years ago or decades ago. And then for whatever reason, it kind of stopped. It can be hard to come back into it for some people. We can say things to ourselves like, oh, I'm too far behind, or I'm too old, or I'm too whatever. But like, can you just talk about what that experience has been like for yourself? Just deciding, I'm going to learn something totally new. Here we
yeah.
go.
Um, it's slightly scary and slightly kind of makes you feel slightly reticent in a way to share with other people. And I thought,
Yeah,
okay, that's part of what I'm going to try and develop in myself is more willingness to just have a go and willingness to just try. And
I love that.
the more kind of experience, the more chances you have to try it, something like that, the better it gets. Like this interview, I kind of maybe a year ago I wouldn't have dreamt of doing this, but
I love that.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
have thought of
we
myself as a musician who might have something to say that some people might be interested in. So
Well, and here you are. And so this is another big topic that I know a lot of people sometimes say, "Oh, I'm not really a musician. I can't really, that class or that program, that's for real musicians. I'm not really a musician." You joined the class not thinking you were a musician, having taken, I think you said, decades away from your music making.
Yeah,
Um, but now, can you talk a little bit about what you're doing now? Because you're very active
yeah,
making
I'm,
music.
I am. Yeah, I do a bit of practice on the keyboards most days to try and get my skills going. Um, I joined a group. I found a group of electronic music artists, I guess you would say, practitioners,
Yeah.
fans of electronic music in my local town, a synth club, and we meet quite regularly. Actually, once a month we have the formal synth club, and then in between that there's a soldering night where we kind of get together and build
Oh,
stuff,
love that.
um, and then so and we're doing a performance in next month. So it's a
And you're
public
doing a
performance.
performance.
Yeah,
So
actually.
what a long way to come from in a year from I'm not sure what I'm
Yeah,
doing. I don't think I'm a musician to performing live, right? Composing your own music. I mean, that's amazing. I hope you've taken some time to celebrate because that's really amazing. Really.
yeah. Thank you.
Um, can you share what has been helpful in you making that much progress? I want to try to demystify this for people who might be thinking, "Oh, sure, that's good for him. He's probably you know, a tech genius or something." What made that possible for you?
Yeah, I think it. I don't think it was about skills. I think it was like the in the course. One of the real core philosophies seems to be you're never behind. You're never.
You're
It
never
doesn't matter
behind.
what pace you go through the material. The point is to just make sure you engage with it and to
Yeah.
and to also have fun. So
Yes.
not make it into like a thing that you're going to beat yourself with. Make it into a thing that you can really entertain yourself with. I think that
That's
was kind
right.
of what caught me really.
Right.
So
So just continuing, right? You said you don't
yeah,
think your progress was necessarily because you just had all of this natural skill. It was just this willingness to
no,
try and then going at your own pace. I think that's so
yeah,
valuable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't watched all of the videos in the course yet. I still have a module or two to do
Yeah.
this year. So I'm really savouring it. I guess taking my time
I love that.
and enjoying it in between.
I think that's so good. That's one of the things that I always tell people early on. I emphasize this so much is take your time as you're learning anything, regardless of whether or not you're in one of my classes. This is a good lesson for life. Just take your time, pause, and try things, right? Like try it in your own voice, try it in your own music making workflow. And if it distracts you for 2 weeks and you make all of this music because of this cool technique you learned, is that bad? No, that's actually awesome because you're putting it all into action, right? I think that that's a beautiful way to do it because then in time, you are developing technically and you're developing creatively. You're growing as an artist and you're growing as a, synthesist, a technician. Things aren't getting lopsided. So I think that's really wonderful. Um, is there anything else that you thought that you found was particularly helpful for you in your modular synth journey? Understanding, of course, you're still on it. You're still going.
I'm still on it. I'm still at the beginning. Um, I'm I think that the focus on VCV rack really was really good for me. I think having a chance to try things out and mess things up, and and also having that library of patches with like a bass, some bass patches, some percussion.
Right.
I made use of those at the beginning to try and just to play and to try and take them apart a bit, see how they worked, and that was really useful. So my modular, it's this is my modular rack. It's got two modules so far.
I love
It's
it.
got
You're
a
starting small.
microphone in and a audio out, and that's all I've got so far. So I can, I've been experimenting a bit with my putting an acoustic bass through the microphone and an ocarina as well. That's my little
I
project
love
for
that.
this January was ocarinas. So,
I
because I've
think
been
that's
collecting
wonderful.
ocarinas for years. I love like the little bird-shaped ones. They're so cute. And but I've never really played them before. So,
Well, there you go. That's wonderful. It's
yeah,
pulling all kinds of things together. I think that's great.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, you mentioned VCV rack. I think that's such a great thing for people who are, thinking, where do I start? How do I get started with synthesis? Where do I begin? I've got analysis paralysis. There's too many options. I highly, highly recommend VCV rack, and it's free. It's amazing. And yes, there are thousands of modules, and yes, the thousands of modules can be overwhelming. But I recommend starting with just the fundamental library. Just don't worry about the other libraries for now. Just start with what comes installed when you download it. And I have a free class you can take to help you get started. And in a couple hours, you will be, making your own sounds and patches, and you will just be like, oh, wow, I can do this. If you want access to the free class, what I'm going to ask you to do is send me a DM and just say, hey, can I have your free class? And I'll get back to you today with the link. Okay. I want to help people get started. I want to cut through that overwhelm because it is very possible.
yeah.
Um,
And you don't need a super fancy computer either. Or it's an Apple MacBook that I bought on eBay for 150. It's
oh,
not like an expensive thing, and it
amazing.
runs CCV rack fine. I
Great,
couldn't
great
get
to
to
know.
work on my work computer because there were loads of installed things.
Oh, I see. Right, right, right. Well, good to know. That's perfect. So
Yeah,
there's one other thing. I'd love to talk a little bit about the kind of music that you're making, the kind of sounds you're making, because this is also really unique. I think one of the first things that I heard you make inside of learning sound and synthesis was actually like a whale sound. And you were
yeah,
like, hey, I've made this really cool whale sound. And I just think that's really awesome. And you brought it into an open mic. We do these open mic community events where students can share what they're working on, whether it's music or whale sounds or ideas for projects. Can you just talk a little bit about that aspect and where that has
yeah.
led you?
My work involves biology, so I'm kind of like into that whole bio stuff. So
That's
I started
great.
looking around on the internet for whale sounds, and I found this really great website called Discovery of Sounds in the Sea. And they've got like sounds of all different creatures, and it shows you the frequency spectrum of the sounds. So I thought, okay, I can I can see the frequency spectrum. I've learned enough now to know how to have a go, see if I can synthesize it. So
So
I did, and it
cool.
sounds kind of vaguely whale-ish, like. But yeah. So I brought that just to share because that was what I had to share. So I brought that, I was really glad I did, and I got really good feedback, and I got questions about how would you think about that as music, and I hadn't even considered that. I was thinking of it purely as a sound and as a synthesis exercise. But now it's going to be part of this performance that we're doing in February.
Right.
So a couple of guys on synths. We've got kind of quite an 80s vibe, or maybe a 90s vibe. It's gentlemen of a certain age, I would say, this performance. But yeah, it's going to have some
I love that.
whale noise.
I love it. So the reason why I wanted you to talk about this is just because it really emphasizes the point that modular synthesizers and synthesis in general it can be used for anything. Like there's no one way to do it. It's not like, oh, everyone who plays a modular synth has to make, you know, whatever X genre of music. Like it's you can make whale sounds, you can make techno, you can make ambient soundscapes. There are students in the class who are using modular synths for installation work, like interactive audio installations. There are people making, synth pop. I just think that to me, as an educator, that is so inspiring because I can give everyone the same set of tools, the same basic principles, and then I can watch each one of you do wildly different things with it. And it's so gratifying. I also just love the conversations that come up in the community around these topics of music. Like, what is music? What can it be? It can be a lot more than you might realize. So thank you for making those whale sounds and following your interest and bringing them in to the conversation. I think that was really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just wanted to say, actually, the community website and the community discussions, that's been a real source of inspiration as well for me. The people who are there regularly, who are kind of helpers or like core community members,
Right.
they're really knowledgeable and really generous with their stuff, and
Yeah.
it's been really good, like dipping into there and seeing what people are doing, and there being monthly challenges to make
Yep.
some noise. That's
Yep.
that's been a really
Exactly.
good source of inspiration, actually.
Good. I'm so happy to hear that. So I want to ask you in a second, I want to ask you more about what's coming up and what you're working on and things like that. So you can start to think about that. And in the meantime, I'm just going to put this link on the screen. Soundandsynthesis.com/waitlist. If anyone is just interested in being notified when enrollment opens up, the next cohort of LSS is opening in a few weeks, mid-February. I only open the class 1 or 2 times a year, so I'm really excited. Every time we do an enrollment period, it's so exciting for me because I get to meet all the new students. We get to kick off a whole new adventure. Older students are welcome back. So once you're enrolled, you have lifetime access. You can come back. So Jay, I hope that I see you back again at our open mics, back on the coaching
I'll be back.
calls. You are always welcome. And that's what makes it so special, is that it's this growing community where people who have been around, some for 5 years, are still there, still going through the course, still contributing. And it just makes it such a special place to be. So thank you for being part of it. And anyone who's interested in joining a course and community like this is the place to go. Send me a DM if you have any questions about how it works or if it's the right fit for you, and I'll happily talk more. Okay, so I want to pass back over to you, Jay, and just hear what you've got going on. What's coming up? How can we follow along?
What's next? Well, I started SoundCloud just to share stuff. Initially, just to share things in the community, and so I don't know.
So you've got that.
Got that, yeah.
Um,
I think where I'm going really is I'm building up this kind of this VCV, this modular rack slowly with soldering, building my own modules. So
cool. Love that.
kind of I suppose I don't really have my style of music's kind of sorted out in my head. So that's growing as the modules
It will come.
grow. I think that's
it will come. I love it.
It's almost certainly going to have like a lot of analog stuff in there as well.
Yeah.
So little bells and whistles and
literal bells and whistles.
Exactly. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to find your SoundCloud link here. Here it is. That's you, right? Dr.
Yeah, Dr.
Brassica. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put your SoundCloud link in the chat if I can figure out how. Let's see. That's okay with you, right, Jay? That I can do that?
That's okay with me, yeah.
All right. Now or never. Okay, so you started a SoundCloud. That's awesome. I'm putting that in the chat for people. You are DIYing your synth. I love that. What's your next module that you're gonna build? Do you know?
I've got a looper that's half built.
A looper.
Yeah, and then after that, a granular processing thing.
Is your cat gonna play VCV rack for us?
Yeah. I think he's a bit hungry.
Aw, I understand.
This was his desk before it was mine. It's in the sunshine, and yeah, it was his first.
That's so funny. Amazing. Well, I'm really looking forward to hearing what comes next from you, and please keep sharing. inside the learning sound synthesis community and publicly if you're comfortable with it. I think you've got a lot of really cool stuff going on, and I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on things. Folks in the chat are saying the same thing too. They're encouraging you to keep sharing. So
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and drop that LSS link here in the comments for people. soundandsynthesis.com/waitlist. If you put your email in there, it basically will ensure that you're first in line, so that when the early bird enrollment opens up, you are notified. It will also give you more information about the class. And if you want to talk about whether it's the right fit for you, send me a DM and I would be more than happy to talk with you and answer your questions. Jay, is there anything else that we should talk about before we wrap up for today? Anything else you want to say?
No, I don't know. I can't think of anything specific. Looking forward to the rest of the modules that I've still got to watch and see what I learn.
Oh, I have a good parting question. I would love to ask if you, and I don't want to put you on the spot here, you were not prepped for this, but if there was someone out there, maybe it's Jay from a year ago, or maybe it's someone who you don't know, who's just kind of, curious about taking a new step in their creative life, but they're maybe feeling a little bit, can I do this? Am I too late? Do you have anything that you would offer that person?
I think it might be scary, but what's the worst that can happen? Actually,
It's a good point, right? It's like we're playing with synthesizers at the end of the day.
yeah,
What's the
yeah,
worst that could happen?
yeah. And the best that can happen is, I think, I don't know, you discover new things about yourself and you find a new voice.
Yeah.
It's really worth having a go.
And that's pretty amazing. Yeah. When I think back to all of the biggest, moments in my life where that I look back on fondly and I'm like, wow, I'm so happy I did that. Like I'm so happy I took that risk or signed up for that, whatever it is, or jumped in even though I didn't feel prepared. Every single time right before I did the thing, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. I might be in over my head. Who am I thinking I belong in this group? And then I did it. And those are the milestone markers in my life that have really made such a big difference. So I'm proud of you, Jay.
Oh,
Congratulations.
thank
Just
you.
kudos to you for just being like, I'm going to learn piano. I'm going to learn modular. Here I go. And to anyone who's watching who needs a little push, just know, like, go for it.
Yeah, you can do it if you can just let yourself have a bit of fun. You can definitely do it.
I love that. Let yourself have fun. That's it. That is the theme of this whole talk, is making music for the joy, tapping into more fun. So the more we can do that, the better it will be. I think that's a beautiful message. Stuart in the chat says, love newbies, always feel as if I'm going to be there. Yeah, it's a good thing, that beginner's mindset, just embracing, what will I learn today? What will I discover? I think that's perfect. All right. Okay. Well, I think with that, we can wrap up unless you've got any final parting words.
No,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Keep sharing your music. Have a fantastic performance. Have so much fun. And when you do start to combine the contact, improv, dancing, and modular, I would love to hear about that, because that sounds super,
Yes,
super interesting. So
that's the
please keep me
project for the
posted.
year, really.
Okay. Amazing. And I'm happy to help in any way I can.
Thank you.
All right. All right, folks. Thanks for everyone who tuned in live. Thanks for being here. It's great to see you all. And I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.